For my class, I would like you to make sure that you watch all of the videos and that you do all of the homework assignments, of course. And I want you to please do what's called a Pomodoro. I want you to take time to set a timer and don't do extra things or other things when you are working. It's like a timer of focus, and so you can do it in 25-minute sessions so that you can get up and do something else and then come back if you need. But when I really began painting in earnest, I realized that there was this thing called flow, and it's a real thing. And your brain loves it. And I want you to be able to learn how to get into it. This is what the line should look like of armature on your paper or canvas. Here is a more detailed one that we'll get to later. Okay, I'm going to see if I can do this video sideways and then edit it to where it is right side up. Make sure that when you are drawing your lines of armature, they go from one corner to the other corner and down here to one corner. So we need to make sure that they are all in the corners correctly. And then we're going to put this in here, and you want to press very lightly on your pencil because we are going to be erasing them. And there are some lines that we don't erase, but these would be the type of lines that we do erase. And you can tell that my first line is not actually accurate enough, so I'm just going to go back and I'm going to erase this lower one because it's not actually right in the center. And we're not doing a really detailed drawing, but it's good if we can get in the habit of doing the right one. And as you can see, I just have kind of an ugly pencil. It doesn't have to be anything fancy right now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to notice is that in our picture, we have this thing where this goes up underneath the line, straight to the middle, and then up above, and you'll notice where the corner is, it's down below the corner. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go from about here, and we're going to go all the way down to about here, and then we're going to go down to here and over to here. And there's another way that we can do this called the point or dot system. And so when we do that, and this has some jaggedness to it, so you don't want to make it too straight because the organic form is not going to have a straight line, a super straight line. So you want to always be watching for that kind of thing. And so I'm looking here to see that there's actually, the tail is going to be like right to here and here. I'm going to make two little dots. This is actually this is another part of the wood. It's going to go up here like this. And or maybe it's the tail, and so this goes all the way up and like this, and then it's gonna break off like this, and then I'm gonna have it be like this, and it goes off the page. And you know what, I think that this would actually look better if I took this off the page a little bit like that. So I'm going to use a little modification. Okay, the bird goes down. So again, we're looking at our model, and our bird goes from about here. We're trying to see, it's within the middle third, if this were, let's see, if I were to do like 1, 2, 3, these are fourths. So if we do this, this would be where the bird is, and it's a little thing, and then it kind of rests right here, and it has this really super cute pudginess to it. And then it's going to go down, and it actually goes underneath and underneath. And then it actually has little claws that go like this. And then it has little ones that go like this. And I want to see about filling this out just a little bit more. And this is going to go like this. It goes kind of down like this and around just a tiny bit. And then it has this, and then it does look like this is part of the tail. I'm gonna have to go look at a bigger drawing to see. Okay, so okay, for this demonstration, I want to show you some other ways of plotting things out on your paper. So instead of using a ruler, there are a few other ways that we can get the right perspective and learn to achieve accurate proportions. So this one doesn't have a lot of negative shape per se, but anything in here is actually would be considered the negative space or negative shape. And we're always looking at that. And we're also looking at like how big is the beak? And so we're going to use what's called, well, we're going to do eyeballing, and then we're also going to use this thing that's just called thumb measuring, or it's called a standard unit of measure. And that's because, you know, presumably we all have fingers. And so what we do is you take it and you're like, okay, the distance between the bird and the branch, if I do it from here, is like, here's my thumb, and then I have one here and like a half there. Do you see that? And so that would be like the standard unit of measuring, also known as thumb measuring. We can also do things like level lines. You look at the inner points of the lines within your subject matter. You take your pencil, and so you take your pencil and you see how things line up and correlate to them from your pencil. So for example, you know, my pencil is straight up and down right now. Let me see if I can get this. And so the bird, you'd see that I have to line it up with your camera angle. So you'd notice that the bird's lines for its wings is almost at like a 45-degree angle. And so, and you'll notice that this line and this line, okay, if these are 45-degree angles, it's pretty close to, let me see if I can get this accurate from what I see. So here's a 45-degree line. And you'll just have to trust me because I think the camera is kind of skewing it a little bit. But this is a 45-degree line That's really, I don't want to confuse you. But it is, you'll have to trust me on it. And then this one is a 45-degree line too. And you'll notice that the branch, look at that, the branch is almost it's parallel with that 45-degree armature line. So those are the kind of things that you're looking for. And that type of proportion finding is called level lines and plumb lines. There are 10 different ways that I want you to write down and to think about for how to find proportion. And so, so this one would be called level lines and plumb lines. And so that's where you are taking your pencil and you're looking at the armature, but you're also looking at what is straight. And then you are basing that off of the straightness. So I personally like using the armature lines. They are very, very useful for knowing how to fit them on your page, because otherwise your page is just, you know, it's so big and you're like, how am I going to fit this in? And if you don't have a grid of some sort, it can be pretty nebulous. So, you know, you can kind of be like, okay, the bird goes about here and the line for the wing is here and it goes out to about here. And then the branch comes down and it swoops down and it goes up. And remember, here's the corner. So you remember that it has to get, ooh, see already I'm not so good at finding the corner line without that armature line. So here, I'm gonna make my little loop here for the other side of the branch. And we're gonna go in here. And then this, hopefully you can tell, this is actually a wing, it's not a branch. I'll try to have as excellent quality of photographs as I can. I'm learning how to use the equipment, so bear with me as I'm learning the equipment. There is a branch here, so I'm going to put one there. And then it looks like little birdie has, and this is a mountain chickadee. No, this is a white-capped, white-capped mountain chickadee. And it's nice and plump. It's got a nice, cute little breast to it. And do you notice how this comes back? Now you are looking at the negative space. You're looking at how much space is right in between. So we don't really call this positive space, although that, I mean, we could say that that's what it is. But usually we just refer to the negative space as the space in between. The space around our subject matter. So we're going to do this, give it a nice little frumpy chest, and then it's called a white cap, even though it has part of it is black. And we'll see. I'm going to guess that this is not going to be half as good as my other one that I use, that I just did with the lines of armature, but I've also been drawing for a while, so I would like you to try both, and I want you to show me both examples that you do, because you are learning, and it shows yourself as well as me that you are experimenting with these different ways of finding proportions. So so go ahead and just give it a try. And let's see here. You got to take the beak into the face. Don't leave the beak on the outside. And you notice that? Do you notice how the beak has a shadow right here? So you're going to want to remember that. And okay. And then look at this. We're going to draw exactly what we see and not what we want to see. These feet, because of the angle of the way that the bird's legs would be, they come out actually beyond and after the bird's breast. So we don't want to just put the feet right here. We actually want to draw what we see, which is right here. So we're gonna do that too. So these feet actually come here and they wrap all the way around this little tiny branch. Don't ask me why. This bird has nice long claws. So we will draw as we see, whether we like it or not. And then this has a little white thing on there. And now we're going to be ready to draw our wings here. So, and there's like a little tuft here. We have to get that little tuft. See how this little thing here, we want to make sure that we get it. It's actually clearer on your screen than it is for me on mine. And we're going to use a different little one like this. And we're going to do lots and lots of little feathers like this. And just kind of put them all in. They're kind of, these little ones have kind of a sword like the end of a spear, a little bit. And then we'll fill it in and you'll barely be able to see it, but it will be there. The idea will be there. And so. And you notice another thing, notice that it's lighter here in value than it is down there. We'll talk about value off and on intermixed, but value just means how light or dark something is, and it actually creates volume. It creates depth to something. So value is really important. It's really important that we always have value. Now, notice something wrong with my drawing. Remember I told you that I really like using armature and not just using plumb lines, but notice how this is very straight, and this actually has, do you notice how this has a little teeny hump on there? And so we want to do that. And also notice how this kind of has like a band here, and it's kind of flat, or curved there. So we just want to make sure that we have enough band. I think that mine is a little bit too short, so I'm gonna take it and go like this, and I'm gonna have to erase a little bit, and I'm going to also erase my very, very straight wings, and I gotta make them just a little bit more fluffy. Okay, here we go. More like this. And then we're going to come over here, and we're also going to create a second layer of value right here, and it goes all the way to here. And then this edge, this doesn't look too natural to me, but we're just doing this drawing. I didn't do this drawing. I think it's a famous drawing of some sort. Notice that this edge looks, that doesn't look like, usually like a twig. Usually twigs are rounded and they're not square or cubic like that, but that's what we see, so we're just going to draw what we see. And put little waves in it. Notice also this, that there is this white line there. We'll talk about core value and core shadowing and reflections and all that kind of stuff later. So just make sure that you have taken note of it, you see it, and that you do it. And then don't use your mechanical pencil for shading things in. Use the right ones that you have. This is why you have a whole set. I tried for us not to have to buy too many things, but you should have a set of like with H and F and B. And so when we do darker ones, you want to use the B. When we want to do lighter ones, you use the HB. The H is the lightest, and F is in the middle. So now I'm using 5B, you can see. Okay. this line is darker than the bird is here. And then this is the shadow, and it has a, this is thinner than I made it. So, and it has more tufts in here. So we can do more tufts. And then we're gonna give more shadow in here. And I actually wanted to show you how to do a little bit of pen. So we could do a little bit of pen in here. You are welcome to do it. Do the pencil first, but then you can go over top of it with pen if you would like to. So that's why I haven't filled the whole thing in pen. Okay, so if you have that, now we can start to do some pen. Let me see if I can zoom in on my little chickadee as I'm doing it. So bear with me as I'm learning how to do all this kind of stuff. Hey, it's working okay. All right. So now you're going to take a pen, and you can take any kind of pen you want. I am using, for this, I'm just using a Sharpie, but you can do whatever you like. So here we go. Now remember, we did not use armature lines for this, and there are a few lessons that we're learning in this. We're learning whether or not we like doing it this way by thumb measuring or the standard unit of measure. Do you remember that? Or if you like using armature lines, plumb lines. We did use some plumb lines for this to see where straight was and where vertical was, and so. Now notice, remember, this is a problem that, okay, my example, let me see if I can show you here. There should be a kind of like a little clump of black right here, right after the branch. And because we didn't use the armature method, I kind of don't have enough for there. So, you know, so just notice it. This is just practice, but and I want you to practice this way because I want you to see. You have to discover all sorts of things about which method works best for you, and we're not relativists when it comes to saying we are still using classical tools. Just some classical tools work better for others, but I'm going to show you all of them, and I want you to try using all of them, and then you can decide. Our drawing is to be like scientists. We're just drawing what we see. And when you're doing lines of something that is round or has a surface, a conical surface, or something that has even a little bit of roundedness, you want to take your angle, and this applies to painting too. You don't want to do a flat line as much as possible because it will begin to look cube-like and not round. So try to make them more round if you can. They just kind of twist over a little bit. So, okay. And now this is okay, but we're going to add back a little bit of pencil in there so that we are finishing it up a little bit nicer. So we're just going to put it in a little tiny bit. Okay. So this is another way of doing proportion, and the other part to this is value. And I'm going to leave some pages on the assignment sheet, and I want you to copy all of them, and I want you to show me that through a PDF that you have copied all of the notes.